Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the School of Matcha. I realize I have not filmed another episode once I started that series, but we are back. This is lesson 2 and we are going to talk about the top 5 syrups for matcha beginners that I would recommend. I thought I would also make a matcha while I talk to you guys about my top 5 sweeteners and syrups that I personally think are really good for beginners in matcha. And we're gonna try a new matcha powder too. This is from the brand Mot Matcha. So Mot means one in Vietnamese. So this is Mot Matcha, the one blend for your everyday ritual. Says that this is from Shizuoka, Japan, and the tasting notes are earthy and umami. Beautiful green. Getting a little bit of a grassy smell initially. The first syrup that I would recommend is a simple syrup. And as the name suggests, it is simple and it's just equal parts cane sugar or sugar and water. And that's it. It's a very simple syrup, but this is like my all-time recommendation for anybody, like all levels of matcha, not just beginners, because I think that like the simple syrup really does what it says. It's very simple and it doesn't like mask the taste of matcha, which I think a lot of other syrups typically do that when it comes to like heavier flavors, but the simple syrup like sweetens it to the perfect amount without taking away the matcha flavor that you actually want. So that's why I recommend that syrup for a lot of people from all different levels to start with that, just because I think it also teaches you how to actually taste the matcha notes as a latte. So the first one I'd recommend is a simple syrup. The next syrup that I'd recommend is maple syrup or agave. I'm just putting these two together because I feel like sometimes they're interchangeable, I guess, and they're also in terms of like availability. I feel like agave and maple syrup are like widely available for you guys depending on like where you live. But maple syrup is one that when I was a beginner, I actually started with using it a lot as my main choice of sweetener. And now that I've just kind of grown in my matcha journey, I typically don't go towards maple syrup anymore because I do think that it overpowers the matcha itself. And depending again on the quality of the maple syrup, sometimes it just tastes like pancakes. And that's all you're really tasting is like that syrupy effect when you eat like pancakes and like waffles and you add like maple syrup on it, and it just doesn't, you can't really taste the matcha too depending on how much you use. So I typically stay away from maple syrup now, but I do enjoy it in like a sea salt maple matcha latte. I love it in hojicha. I think maple syrup is perfect for hojicha because again, hojicha has such a stronger like profile to it where it can kind of cut through it. But with matcha, it's more delicate. And if you really want to taste the matcha, maple syrup, you still can. Again, I think if you're starting out, maple syrup is a great place to start. But maybe the better option would be agave. And agave is more similar to like the simple syrup taste where it's very simple and the matcha can really shine through. It's not as overpowering as the maple syrup. But again, I started off with maple syrup and I enjoyed it, and I feel like it taught me how to enjoy matcha and slowly like work my way up to understanding like the different notes to it. Like, is this too much syrup? Is this too sweet? Kind of thing. And again, like I said, I still appreciate maple syrup. So that would be my recommendation number 2. Okay, let's try this as Yusucha. Wow, very umami. Very smooth too. Yeah, very umami, very smooth, very creamy. Wow. Okay, the third syrup I would recommend is a vanilla syrup, and kind of stemming from the simple syrup where it's simple enough, but this one you're making it the same way, so equal parts sugar, equal parts water, but then you're adding like vanilla extract or you're adding vanilla bean, which is my personal preference. I love vanilla bean, specifically because of like the taste that it gives. It's just, in my opinion, it's like superior to just vanilla. I love vanilla bean and I love seeing like the little specks in my matcha lattes. So I typically go for like a vanilla bean syrup when I'm making them. But this is one that whenever I go to like cafes, I would order my matchas to be sweetened with vanilla, just because I think that was probably the most tame syrup where I could actually taste the matcha coming through versus like a caramel or like a raspberry or some other like syrup that obviously is very overpowering. So I think vanilla syrup's like a step above the simple syrup and the agave, where you're getting the like basics of it, but you're also getting like a nice sweetness to it. So I think that will still be able to help you grow in your matcha journey. Let's try this as a latte now. That's beautiful. Let's try it. Wow. This reminds me of eating white chocolate. It's creamy, it's sweet, and there's like that undertone of it being like chocolate where there's a little bit of like earthiness, umami-ness to it. I feel like it was more bold in the umami notes as a yusucha, but I can still taste it as a latte, but I definitely get more of the creaminess that was present as a yusucha, and it's even more like enhanced to like the experience of eating white chocolate. It's so smooth, there's absolutely no bitterness or astringency. It's so pleasant to drink. That's amazing. And the fourth syrup that I'd recommend is a strawberry syrup. This is still, to this day, one of my all-time favorite syrups whenever I want like a fun drink. I personally love strawberry syrups over all of the fruits. I think I am a strawberry girl. Like I would pick that over like mango, over blueberry. And I think it's just because it has like such a special place in my heart that when I first started out with matcha, I would like love a strawberry matcha and I would make that syrup all the time. But I think it is like if you do want to make a fun matcha latte at home, strawberry is perfect, because I think like if you have like a more bitter forward or a bolder matcha powder that you have, and maybe you're not necessarily like accustomed to like enjoying the bitterness or like the grassiness of matcha just yet, I think using a strawberry syrup is the perfect way to like complement that bitter and grassiness matcha. Again, those are not bad things, but I do understand that when you're first trying matcha, it can kind of seem like just different, I guess, and it's something that you do have to maybe get more like accustomed to, get more familiar with, because it is just different and sometimes people don't always like it. Like when I first started, I thought that grassy and bitter was bad things in matcha, so I stayed away from it. But as I grew more in like my matcha journey and understanding it more, I love it now, and I think like it's what makes matcha matcha, and it's stuff that you really shouldn't shy away from. But I get it, if you're a beginner, it's a little bit hard to get to like that. So I think strawberry syrups would be the perfect opportunity to use those matchas, to not throw them away, but to use it in a strawberry matcha, because I think it really does complement each other. And I think it's just a fun drink and it works so well together that, even if you don't understand matcha fully yet, it's like a great place to start. And my last recommendation, but certainly not least, this is a brown sugar syrup, and you can make it just brown sugar, equal parts brown sugar, equal parts water. But I love to add cinnamon in mine, so this one has brown sugar and cinnamon in it. And we are gonna add some to my matcha. One of my favorites, even till today. But I think even for a beginner, the brown sugar mixes so well with matcha, and it kind of does the effect of like kind of gives like the effect of maple syrup, but without that like overpowering flavor. Like it kind of gives the warmth and the depth of maple syrup, but without, yeah, like overpowering the matcha notes itself. Like it has more of like a molasses taste to it, a bit deeper, more warm. So I think it adds just like a nice like flavor to the matcha, but also complements it really well where you can still taste like the matcha notes. But it's a personal favorite of mine, and I love anything cinnamon. So I would recommend this. And the really cool thing is too, I've noticed that as I've just tried different syrups with different matcha powders, you begin to see what matcha powders work better with certain flavors. Like for me, grassy ones, again, like I was saying, match really well with strawberry and simple syrup, but maybe for like the brown sugar one, definitely like an umami one, a creamy one. I think grassy and brown sugar, in my opinion, doesn't really clash well together, but it's cool because you can kind of see your taste buds and what it prefers when it comes to syrups and when it comes to specific notes in matcha powders. You begin to kind of figure that out as you go along, but that's why I wanted to share with you guys like my top 5 beginner friendly matcha powders so that you can start experimenting with the powders that you have and just see what works. And again, like all of this is like my opinion and just what I've learned and experimented with, but whatever you guys like in terms of like matcha and in terms of the syrups, like if you found one that you love, like continue using it. It doesn't have to be what I recommend, but if you just don't know where to start, these 5 syrups would be a great place to start. And have fun. Have fun just figuring out like what you like, what you don't like, because you could hate all of these syrups that I've given you and it just doesn't work for your personal preference, and that's totally fine. But I would encourage you to just have fun with it because, yeah, you're the one drinking the matcha and you're the one making it, so enjoy it and have fun with it. But let me know if this was helpful or if you guys have any syrups that you're kind of wondering about. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys for lesson 3.